Hi, everybody. This is Lydia Middleton. I'm the Executive Director of ASIST, and I am here today with Rebecca Willson, who is a candidate for Director at Large for the ASIST Board of Directors. Welcome, Becky.
Thank you for having me.
We're awfully glad that you are running for this position. So I have just a few questions for you. Before I get to the questions, why don't you give us a very brief snapshot of who you are, where you are, and a little bit about yourself.
Great. So most people call me Becky. I have moved around a fair amount. I did my PhD in Australia. I worked in Scotland, and I am currently an associate professor at McGill University in Montreal, Canada. My area of study is information behavior. So in terms of ASIST, I've been very involved with SIG-Use. I've been a previous chair of SIG-Use. I've also been involved in several different committees. I've been chair of the Research Engagement Committee. I've sat on the International Relations Committee. I've been on lots of different juries. And so this is one of the reasons that I'm interested in the Director at Large position, because I've been in lots of different chapters and had lots of different experiences on different committees, as well as I am on the JSIST editorial board, and I am a review editor for JSIST as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so to my questions. First of all, why are you a member of ASIST? What keeps you renewing your membership each year, coming back?
So, really good question. There's lots of different organizations out there, but I do feel like ASIST is the research, my research home. It's my disciplinary home. I have been a member since my starting my PhD, and it really is a place where I find it is where the latest research is being discussed, where other people are. It's a great place for collaborations. SIG-Use, because that's my area. SIG-Use has been an intellectual home, and it's where I meet a lot of other people who have very similar interests. And I found that during my PhD, my research was being supported, and that has also happened as I was an early career scholar up until now. So really, it's the research and the people that keep me coming back to ASIST.
Wonderful. So you gave us some of your credentials in terms of your experience in ASIS. What particular skills do you think you would bring to your role on the board?
So I think part of it is that I have had a lot of different experiences within ASIST and have met a lot of different people. I think I can make connections to people fairly easily, fairly quickly. And I also feel that because I was a member of the Asia Pacific chapter, the European chapter, the Canadian chapter, which I am currently a part of, or sorry, the Canada chapter, that those are having that breadth of understanding of how different areas of the world work is definitely an advantage. Part of it is also, I would say, there's a great overlap between a lot of what's currently in ACES strategic planning and the areas that I study. So, yes, I'm in information behavior, but what I'm really interested in is transitions. I'm interested in early career people. I'm interested in workplaces, and I'm interested in mentoring. And those are all things that I think ASIST has a great history with, and also areas where I study. I also feel that, I have those general, I'm organized, I tend to make good connections with people, those kinds of general things I also bring to the table.
That's great. Well, and you set me up for my next question, which is that, as you know, we are in the process of drafting a strategic plan that's going to go out to the members probably in the next week or two. We have a lot of input needed from our members right now on a lot of things. So you've had a chance to look at the draft of the strategic plan, keeping in mind it is still a draft that the members haven't commented on yet. But after reading that, what aspects of the plan do you think should be your highest priority? What are you most interested in working on and most excited about?
So there's a few things, and yes, I know it's still a draft, but some of the things that I am really interested in, there's been discussion around different kind of membership models, particularly for adjunct faculty. I recently just completed a project on adjunct faculty and their information experiences, and so I feel like this is a really important area that we take into account the differences in people's situations. I'm also really interested in getting involved in how do we get people to be to be more involved, especially in publications. That was something that was discussed as, getting sort of people training and resources to be reviewers for ASIST publications. That's actually something I recently did. I am the faculty liaison for the McGill student chapter, and I actually just ran a session with them around how to be a reviewer. We actually went through a short publication and we actually did a review of it. We talked about what it should look like. And this is something that I'm co-chairing a conference that's coming up in June 2026. And this is something we're going to run aimed at doctoral students and early career researchers around how to do this. So this is something that I've realized we really do we all benefit from reviewing, but we often don't. When we first are starting to learn, we don't necessarily have chances around that. So that's something that's very important to me. I'm also very interested in mentorship. So this is something that has continued to be in the strategic plan of ASIST. It was in the last one, which I was also part of creating that one as well. So, or sorry, that one. I'm not on this one. But mentorship, I think, is something that is extremely important. When I was chair of the Research Engagement Committee, we put together a mentorship program, or continued to put together a mentorship program. And I think that that's really how you draw people in, how you support them, and how you keep them in an organization. And I think particularly doctoral students and early career researchers, which is an area that I'm very interested in terms of my research, but also I think this is an area that we need to continue to support people. I think lastly, I'm interested in something that sort of it was, I would say, new potentially to sort of a focus of ACES, the focus on pedagogy. And I think this is a really exciting thing. I've taught for quite a number of years now and am interested in really digging more into that. And I think it's a great focus. I'm not always able to go to ELISE and ASIST. So I'm really excited that there's discussion of working with ELISE, but also thinking about how pedagogy can be approached through ASIST as well. So I would say that those are the areas that I'm most interested in.
Fabulous, thanks. So I'm going to throw out a question at you that I didn't prep you for, but hopefully you can give us some thoughts on it. As you know, we are in discussion with the Special Libraries Association, which is another global, not quite as global as we are, but global organization, largely of practitioners, librarians, and information scientists in corporations and sort of not less traditional spaces than typical libraries. So, what's your thought on that? How do you see that merger? Do you think that's a good thing for racist? And approaching the issue of sort of how these cultures are going to align. Any thoughts on that?
So that's a really interesting question in that I do think that we have to, as a field, information science and library and information science. I know that there's different feelings on what we should be called as a field, but I do have a background as a librarian. So I used to be an academic librarian, and I see the two. I see it being possible to put the two together. We've really struggled over years of how do we deal with a profession? How do we deal with research? How can we possibly make those two work? And I think that that's a real potential benefit of having the SLA as part of merging with ASIST in that we could pay better attention to practitioner concerns and research around that area. And I feel that, I obviously talked about how important ASIST is as a research organization, but I'm also thinking about how do I take that research into the profession? And so I see if we're paying more attention to the profession and the profession potentially could start to think about research as well, that always that research practice gap, that would be something that SLA and ACES could do really well together.
Super, thanks. All right, and what have I not asked you that you want to touch on? Is there anything else about yourself, your background that you want ASIS members to know about you?
So I think it's mainly that what I hope is that I am approachable as a director at large. I see that role as sort of being able to take the concerns of the general membership to the board. I try to make sure that I get out and talk to different people and think about different aspects of our field. I guess that's more just if I'm in this role, that's what I'm hoping will be sort of what happens as a result of that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with me today, and I wish you the best of luck in the election.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.